live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome AfterBuzzers. Tonight we are going to be talking about a dope episode with some epic cameos. We're going to be talking about John Mulaney hosting, Jack White musical guest. So John Mulaney spoke words, Jack White sang words. Couple things that we're going to talk about tonight. Like I said, the cameos. We had De Niro. What? We had De Niro. We had Nasim Pedrad show up in a sketch. We had Ben Stiller in the opening. Huge night for cameos. We got to listen to Les Mis with a lobster. So, like, incredible. And then we got to see John Mulaney in drag. So we have a lot of fun stuff to talk tonight. So stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV super fan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hell makes me wanna shoot.
Salt. Stand up and do a little running man.
Yeah, I wish I could get up for this song. Gets me going.
Oh my gosh, the outfits in this video too. Well, needless to say, we love Jack White, and that's why we played Salt and Pepper.
You caught us.
For his episode
We
of
took
SNL.
any other musical reference.
You gotta love SNL's musical choices. They go from Cardi B to Jack White. They're
Yes.
covering it
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
So quick.
Well, welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us back at our usual time because we were good at life this Sunday and made it. We are missing Kelly tonight, so we hope she feels better. She's got the sniffles. I don't know what she has.
She has a cough.
Close enough.
She's
Hope you
ill
feel
and
better,
we miss
Kelly.
her. Long story
she
short.
is horizontal right now.
Well, again, thanks for joining. My name's Amy Maestri. You're going to be hosting tonight with these two lovely ladies. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hit it.
I'm Steph Sabraw. I'm really excited about this episode. John Mulaney is a hunk, and I've never used that word, but I feel like he's an old term needs to be used for him.
I'm Elysabeth Alfano, and I agree. Although I would not say that he's a hunk. I would say he has like every female characteristic you'd ever want and every male characteristic you would ever want in one person.
Yeah.
To me, he's very lithe and elegant and a little old-fashioned, and yet his humor is wicked, and he's, like on top of it and smart and all. I just love him.
I honestly don't know what hunk even means. It just seemed appropriate for John Mulaney.
I think you need a little bit more muscle than maybe he has.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really know the meaning, but I feel like
I'm going with it.
he's just so dang charming is all.
He is. He's an adorable little man, I think. Old timey man.
Yeah, no, it's
Reminds,
hard to
yeah,
not
we're saying
like
he's like
him.
an old soul, kind
Yeah.
of. But yeah, so like, what were some of your expectations coming into this episode? Obviously, he used to be a writer. He was a writer for about 5 years on the show. Has a lot of connections with a lot of people there still. So what were some of your expectations coming in?
I thought it was going to be heavy dialogue, more like written instead of action type skits, which I think we did see a lot of that. I thought there would be, like we all kind of talked about, specific type characters, because that's what he specializes in, like developing deeper character traits in these really weird characters really quickly. And I thought we would get a little preview of his Netflix special that would be coming up. So I was excited for the monologue, which did not disappoint.
Right. So I sort of felt as you did. I had high expectations because he's such a funny guy. I love his stand-up and then, of course, his writing. And so I had expectations of what we got, which is some great character development, some really intricate, smart, odd combination characters. But I also expected that, because we've been complaining a lot, that the end of the episodes have not been wrapping up, and that you've got a great concept, but it doesn't go anywhere. It heightens and then it stops and it doesn't wrap up. And so I thought we'd have tighter sketches. We didn't have that. So a lot of sketches ended with like, what, where was this gonna go? And I thought they'd fix that with him. And so
Not even Mulaney can do it.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, we all kind of had, and anytime there's like an ex-cast member or ex-writer, it's like there's always such high expectations going into it that they're just never going to reach them. But I think they came close on this one. I think they did a good job with it. And then, so diving right in, I want to talk about the cold open for a little bit, just because they did, obviously, I mean, Ben Stiller, Robert De Niro doing interrogation / Fokker reunion.
Yes, right. Right, exactly, yeah.
Loved that kick at the end.
So, I mean, anytime we get to see Kate, who I know you love, as Sessions, plus these two come in and be, you know, the Fokker reunion is glorious. One thing that I always find interesting about Robert De Niro is he is one of the greatest actors of all time, and he is terrible at sketch comedy, and always has been.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He just, like, his acting is great because it's subtle and you feel like it's almost cardboard because it's so subtle and restrained, and that's his power. That really doesn't work with sketch. So it really feels just like, dude, you got to learn to read the cards better. Like, I don't know. It just didn't come off for me.
It's interesting, yeah, because, I mean, he's someone who, every time he's hosted, I feel like I remember the first time I saw him hosting, I was like, how is this, why? No. And the same, and that's why it's so, like, sketch comedy is such a different animal. You know, I mean, he's terrible host. Annette Bening, terrible host. These are two of the best actors of our time.
Right.
And then Peyton Manning goes on there and crushes. A football player's better than Robert De Niro.
That's right.
Yeah.
So go figure.
Crazy. But
It is.
getting to see those two play in this sketch, I think, was just so amazing. Steph, any thoughts on that?
No, I think that you hit it really well. I didn't even think about his past appearances where it's like he just doesn't connect for him, and even. But I did really like him, even though you could tell he was reading. Just him and Ben Stiller's chemistry is still so there. It's so present. And so when they had the whole like Fokker type ending and stuff, I just thought it was a really solid cold open, and it was fun and it was different like last week. So I hope they continue on that.
Yeah, giving it something different, having a couple different beats to it. I loved him going through the code names for everyone. For them to boo Ivanka getting the girlfriend.
I didn't get that.
Oh my God.
Please.
That's like the easiest joke, most obvious joke ever. I mean, Trump has literally given us that joke by checking his own daughter out on camera.
He has
Many
said he
times.
would date her.
No, he
That is
said-
the literal term, girlfriend.
Hasn't he said, like, nice ass?
Yeah, probably.
Good piece of meat? I've heard
Probably,
him on
yeah.
Howard Stern say, like, she's a great piece of meat.
Yeah.
Or a
Oh,
great piece of
God.
ass. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can't talk
slimy
about
in
this.
so many
Nasty.
ways. Slimy in so many
But yeah,
ways.
I think even the writing in it, even if you take out the fact that we have these two amazing cameos, I love that not only did they do the Meet the Parents stuff, but they also went all the way back to The Godfather, and he was explaining Donald and Eric, Donald Jr. and Eric as two Fredos.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
just like, yes, we even got a Godfather joke in there.
See, I liked when he said, and what am I? Well, you're dead man walking. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, right.
The writing was really solid. In a
Yeah.
lot of parts of this episode, you could see the writing was really solid. When he was like, "How'd you like that PP tape?" Like in the beginning of the the lie detector test, I was like, "Yes, I love that."
And I thought of Steph when De Niro's line came out, oh, we call him Putin's little bitch.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. I knew she'd be into that.
Oh, man. So
I was
good
like,
job.
Let me rewind that. What?
They finally got a political opening we all liked. Great job.
Yes.
And now for which I know we all loved so much, the monologue, which we
Yeah.
have a fun little moment for you guys.
And once again, salt and pepper.
Honestly, I've rewatched it like 40 times. And I thank him for bringing that up again.
What a great way to start the show. Again, we always talk about like how it's so important when they come out with energy, and like even if the jokes aren't good, even if the monologue's terrible, if the host comes out with energy, you just have a good feeling about the rest of the show. And for him to start on a joke about how he says Peppa, like amazing. Loved it.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the actual jokes in this?
I thought it was so solid, and he just has this. It's funny you mention energy, because I was thinking like he does bring this energy, but it's in this really unique way. Like he's a unique comic in general. I feel like stand-up, there's not a lot like him. He's in his own lane in terms of like his delivery, the tone of his voice. Like it's so smooth and charismatic, but then also like mischievous, and then always like roundabouts, like perfectly ends itself. And so it was just like really, the whole time I was smiling, and then I was laughing really loud and just smiling like, I love him.
Because he's such a hunk.
Hunk.
So I was relieved, I guess is the right word. I just felt like, Finally, man, someone who's pro. I feel like we've been getting a lot of amateurs lately, including the cast of SNL. And here I was like, oh, that's right. Nailed it. Well written, came back around. So, and not necessarily topics that are so obvious. So we've all gone to the computer that makes you check in to say that you're not a robot from the robot who's asking you if you're a robot, and then you have to do. So it's an innocuous little thing, right? It's not a funny part of life, really, except that when you're that smart and your delivery's that good and your timing's that good and you can write that well, then you can turn this whole conversation into something really tight and smart. And so I was like, oh, good.
I
thank
love
you.
that part. I was like, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, the way that he was able to, like, because I mean, you have heightening within a sketch where beat after beat it gets more extreme, and then you have heightening within a joke itself of just like the levels that they go to in that
To take
presentation
you
of it.
around
So yeah,
the
to not
concept.
only like have like be talking about the voice of like the robot, but to put that voice to it specifically, because now every time I put in a code, I'm just gonna hear it going like prove. And that's all I'm ever gonna think of now.
Yeah, you just knew you were dealing with like a pro
So
stand-up.
true.
Yeah.
He was so
And you know,
polished.
he reminds me a lot of Vanessa Bayer in her stand-up. She has this joke that I love where she's talking, because again, like you said, not always necessarily topical or like things that you're thinking about, like the gazebo joke that he
Right.
had.
So great.
Reminded
I
me
love
so
that.
much of a bit that she does about, she's talking about like Civil War reenactors and how like the men are so into it. And she's like, what are the women doing while they're just like on a porch churning butter? Like, what are they talking about? And like how one of them's like really into it and talking about the blood that everyone is shedding, and then the other one's like, "Did you guys see True Blood last night?" And like, it's just that kind of joke that it's not like top of brain, it's not top of mind. It's just like, what do they think? What does that robot say when they're testing us in the computer?
That to me is the great sign of a stand-up person, is they take something completely mundane and routine and quotidian and make it really funny by finding that odd fine line to walk for everybody and getting the humor out of that. So a lot of skill, in other words, I guess I'm saying.
Yeah, always nice when an actual stand-up comes to host. We get a nice little monologue, and he kept it tight too.
Yeah, it was short.
Perfect timing.
Short and yeah.
Great, very excited for his Netflix special.
Same.
And next, we got to see him do a little drag, get a little sassy with everyone.
It was awesome.
So
Okay, just a quick question. Did he pull out chicken cutlets?
No.
No, because the way they went thump on the desk, I was like, well, those aren't pads, because they went like...
yeah, those were some real. They were.
I think they were just like 3 cup sizes.
Okay, so they were
Yeah.
like silicone gels. So I thought, oh, does he have chicken cutlets? I like
Oh
rewound
my
it.
god,
and
the
I rewound it,
vegan
and
in her was like, what?
No.
I loved this sketch, and then I didn't. Gosh darn it. I loved how it started. I loved his makeup, how they went full board. They just were so
contour.
committed. Yeah, and I thought it was really the way he played it, how he got very like, into you, I can see you've never been a nice person your whole life, or whatever he said. But then at the end, it just felt like, okay, we have to go. Sorry, we have commercial. Boink. So, I don't know, fell flat in that way. But otherwise, super good.
Yeah, I think this was a sketch that started so strong because you're immediately like, oh, this is a great game.
Right.
This is so much fun. Like
Yeah.
getting the sassy comments, and they were playing back with him so well.
Right.
And then the extreme opposite of Alex just getting torn apart on a really personal, deep level.
Right.
So I think through that it was really good, but I'm okay with the turn that they took at the end, but it didn't need to take up a quarter of the sketch. That needs to be a reveal that's a much bigger moment in the last 10 seconds that it goes out on with a button. I felt like the lead up to it of like, now do you recognize me?
Took a long
Now
time,
taking
yeah.
everything off, I'm like, I know
Get
that
to
there's
it.
going to be a funny turn, but like
Right.
get to it. So
Yeah.
I was disappointed in the end also.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
reveal was okay for me. It was, I think after he was like, no, the deal was that I have to serve you guys for the rest of the night, then it could have just been over
Yeah.
right there.
Right. And
Beginning.
But it was hilarious.
I also thought, well, maybe they're trying to take on too much. So the waitress is in drag. So that concept of an in-drag waitress who picks on everyone's shortcomings, that's enough, actually. I think you could have just heightened, like, she picks, and then she picks, and, it goes from dark, shadowy eyes to, you tramp or whatever. You also almost didn't need to also have to take down your old boss. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot to take on.
Yeah, agreed. They either needed to just completely go ham on him to the point of it getting like physical too, and
right,
like
yeah.
there
I
being
wanted
no
him to
reason
cry.
for that. Yeah.
That's right. I
You're
wanted
gonna
to see
say
that.
it,
He
do
attempted
it.
Yes, right. So ultimately, I think I'm going to not give that
so
a good
mean.
grade.
Yeah, Alex Moffat. Steph wants you to cry like a
better
little
cry.
baby. So
It was Beck, wasn't it?
No.
no, it was Alex.
Really?
Were you high during this? You thought you saw a chicken cutlet, and now
I know.
Oh my God! Yeah, you must have just saw like
it
a
was
PETA
Beck who was
commercial.
like, "Oh, you're hurting my feelings."
No, it's I
He's
could
really
see
picking.
Beck being like that, but you're wrong.
Okay, I'm betting you both. How much you guys betting me?
Oh my God, I
$5
don't-
million.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check it. I really thought it was Beck saying
You
like,
guys,
okay.
I'm like
you guys heard it here.
absolutely
Okay.
positive.
Are there any lawyers
All right.
watching right now? Is
Yes,
this
yes.
legally binding?
Yeah.
The $5 million.
I don't have it. I
Notarized.
gotta tell you that.
We do
so-
know that Elizabeth is really dang smart, but just not right now.
Sorry. Sunday night, I take a pass.
She's a working woman.
All right. Well, moving on to the next one because I'm just too excited about the $5 million. I can't even talk about it anymore. So this next one was the kids were going to be walking out of their class.
Yeah.
John Mulaney, poor kid, just keeps popping a boner every time they try to stand up. Poor kid. Sorry. What were your guys' thoughts on this? I thought this was an interesting sketch for a lot of reasons, but I'll let you guys jump in.
I thought it was topical, but also like 3 weeks ago topical when it was actually happening, but obviously still an important issue and an issue that could be funny to hit, especially in the differences of kids' demographics in a class. Like you'll have like your conservative, your liberal, your one that's just like emotional because she wants attention or she's an actress, whatever it may be. I also got the vibes with I know Mulaney and Nick Kroll do Big Mouth. They write that together. So there was a lot of that aspect in terms of like a little kid who just doesn't know how to keep his boner down. So that was like a funny little thing.
Yeah.
I thought actually I liked Leslie in this. It was good. It was solid to me. I think you guys liked it more than me.
I thought this is great writing. You have great characters here. It is very topical. Make this a play. You have 8 different characters, right? Everyone in the cast was representing a different kind of high school student and perspective. It's topical, political. It wasn't that funny, but it was interesting, and I think you could have really taken that to a short story, a play, something, but it doesn't seem to be a funny sketch.
Get up with the boner. That would be
Yes, right.
funny.
Right,
Walk
right.
out with the boner.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I was intrigued, but it was the wrong form. Like Saturday Night
show
Live
us
isn't
more.
the place for that. But show us more. Okay, I will say, I do have gossip on John Mulaney here, because we're talking about a high school sketch. He went to my high school.
Oh.
Yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. He's from Chicago, and he went to St. Ignatius. So,
Wow.
yes,
TV exclusive.
we were not the same year, but same school.
Wow.
I know.
Nice.
Okay, all right. That's what I got.
That's
people.
cool.
Are there any pictures of him in the hallway with a boner
I'll ask the Jesuits.
need-
next to the trophy
I'll
case?
have to ask Father McBrien, and I'll get back to you.
So probably not. That's probably negative. Negative on that, guys.
Probably-
I don't know. I'll have to look up his high school yearbook picture from
There we
St.
go.
Ignatius.
I'm sure it's in
And
there.
It's
I
a
would
boner,
love
right? I'm
to
sure
see
it's in there. It's just a boner. It's not him. It's just his boner. Okay.
I would live.
There's so many like food references happening on tonight. Got the cutlet, got a ham.
the chicken cutlet.
Well, didn't it make that sound?
But I think
I was
that's
like,
what
oh,
breast
wow,
implants were
that was-
basically designed after.
Oh, well.
Chicken cutlets.
then
If you think about it.
I'm not that far off, you see.
Think about it.
Well, going back to the boner sketch.
Yes.
Not his actual boner in
Okay.
the Catholic school. We're really on it tonight. Here's why I found this interesting. Normally, I don't like when sketches try to do 2 different games at once. This is when they can make it work because the boner joke almost acted as a runner.
It was.
Through this sketch. So they were able to deviate from it and then come back to it, and come back to it with those tidbits of like the idea of like kids like getting so offended by certain things and then coming back and like the Swedish girl being like it's fine, just like saying that like we don't have guns but also we just have 1,200 people and a giant Iceman or whatever, like, and then like hearing each person's opinion going back and forth, and then the specifics of the writing in that were really good too. And that even just when he went back to the boner talk, and he was just like, they were like, yeah, we should march out with our pelvises forward, and he's like, I'm really mad I got so specific on that one. Like,
can I just say, when you explain things like that, it's like the best thing ever. Like, you literally just coached me. You were like, so this became a runner, and then this one was able to go through. I was like, yes!
Like anatomy of a
diagram.
sketch.
Yeah.
Really.
You can have a little
God,
diagram.
you rock!
Totally. Yeah, I want to give you like a white lab coat and a pointer, and so that you can say like, the runner was over here. This is how sketches formed.
I'm gonna steal my roommate's like
Classes
laser
in
pointer that she
session.
has for her cat. She's gonna be like, "Where's Nina's laser pointer?" I'll be like,
I had to
"Listen,
teach."
I have class tonight. I'm a professor now."
I'm ready to study.
I like it.
But yeah, that's why I found that one interesting, and I was okay. Like at first, I was like, "Oh, you can't make a whole sketch out of this," and they didn't. They
Right.
did something else with it, and it made me
Right.
very happy that they kept coming back and forth to it.
Yeah, I actually think there's a lot more to play with. I hope they don't drop the idea. I think they could take it to other levels, even if it's with Saturday Night Live or not.
Yeah, and like you always say too, like with ending a sketch, they like one of the classic endings for a sketch is a callback, and they
Right,
did because there were
exactly right.
callbacks
They
throughout the whole
kept-
thing.
Yeah.
So
no, it was clever and smart.
So I did like that. Next one we won't spend too much time on. I know we all kind of were like, okay, the Netflix Wild Wild Country. Nassim Padran was in this, who
Awesome.
Highlight.
love her
Yes.
so much.
Yeah.
So much love for that
So
one. So it was so
freaking
nice
cute.
to see her.
And I loved her character in this. I
Yes.
did. She killed that.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
That like sort of dictator.
I thought she was totally
Borat
badass.
role.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a total highlight, and I thought Keenan ruined this one. I'm so sorry, because I'm going to say nice things about him in future sketches, but I also think to their miscredit, here's another thing where I wanted them to make fun of Netflix documentaries. That's enough right there. Just make fun of Netflix.
Yeah.
You don't have to also have Keenan being the guy who's like, oh, I'm not into the religious cult. I'm here for the booty call. And so you're trying to make that funny, how one person wants a booty call and everyone else is with the religious cult. So I was having competing storylines, and I just wanted you. It's so easy to make fun of Netflix documentaries. Go. And as Netflix just keeps pouring them out, I was like, oh, that's great. And then Keenan kept popping up, and I was like, what are you doing here? You're a different thing.
That's been my opinion for 15
Oh
years.
my god. Yeah, they definitely kept going back to him. I thought they were gonna cut to him once.
Right.
Maybe twice.
Right.
But then he was probably the majority of the
yeah.
clip. So yeah, I agree with what you said.
I needed way more Nassim in this. Way less.
If she's
Keenan.
gonna show up,
Me too.
Yeah, I just felt like this was one of those things they were trying to do too many things in
Me
it.
too, yeah.
Because like they had too many people that were kind of on the other side of it, like talking about how great it all was and everything. If they're trying to show that juxtaposition of like that Keenan didn't belong there, that needs to be more of the joke in this. That needs to be played out more.
Right.
Or just have Nassim do the whole thing and
Yes.
have her come back.
Yeah,
That's
that was-
fine.
yeah, right. I would have taken lots more of her.
But so okay, next sketch. First of all, I think we have some
love this sketch.
some special music for me on this one because I have we're gonna have a little moment here.
oh my god.
Are you gonna sing?
This is
Yeah,
happening.
flex up. Get ready. Go on. Go on. Yeah.
All right, Kenan fans out there. First, what the hell's wrong with you? Second, I'm gonna say something right now that you'll never hear me say again.
I'll get the tissue.
He didn't ruin this sketch.
Oh my god! I can't believe this is happening.
I know, guys.
It's a turning point for
You did it, Keenan.
Oh
It only took 15 years.
my god. Okay, wait.
Oh my
He
god.
can sing.
I am moved by this moment. I'm moved by this sketch.
I'm moved by Keenan. Sorry.
I am too. But
It's a
I'm moved by
special
your
night.
ability to recognize when something is right,
very humble of
even
you.
if you were against it initially.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this was my favorite sketch of the night.
Yeah, easy, hands down.
Yes. So we after that, I'm composed again, able to jump
Able
back
to.
in. So we had
You're so pro.
I
Girl,
know.
you're so pro.
I'm just gonna
You're
put
so
it
pro.
behind me. We had the Lobster diner sketch. This is a sketch that John Mulaney and Colin Jost wrote 10 years ago. Did not make it to air. which is insane because it's amazing. But I'm very happy that it didn't, because now we get to talk about it tonight, and we got to see Cecily in it too,
Yes, right.
who was amazing.
Yeah.
Keenan still would have been in it because he's been there forever. But I know we all love this, so let's all just jump in all at once so no one can hear anything.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steph.
I loved the sketch. I thought every single person in the sketch brought the A game completely.
Yeah.
I love the premise of it. I love the song in it, and the fact that everyone was actually a good singer was like almost upsetting to me, but I loved it. I don't know if you guys noticed that Chris Red was Millie rocking in the back. Like, just ever so slightly, like, while everyone was, yeah, it's like hilarious. And then him and Pete's chemistry, like, we've
so
talked
good.
about it, but they really need to dive into that, because it's
Yeah.
like this magical little friendship going
Yeah.
on. And Pete just giggling in the background
Oh, when he
was
broke,
amazing.
it was just like too much.
Yeah, so what do you think?
Well, I don't know if you can see this, people. I'm going to stand up. We don't have a special skit today. Can I get in there? Okay, we don't have a special skit today, so that's the skit. This says
Except
vegan.
it's real life.
Oh, am I not allowed to use the F word? Well, this says vegan, as you can guess. So I was thrilled with the concept as well as the execution. So first of all, I was surprised that Keenan could sing, and that was a huge treat for me. So I loved seeing that. Everyone else, I knew that they could sing, but it's coming together to see the whole cast come together like that, so awesome. And it was not too long, not too short. I mean, so I just nailed it every stretch of the way. But I love the topic, and it really highlights how, what lobsters go through. This is important to me, and it highlights animal eaters and their very strange logic of like, don't kill the lobster, but go right ahead and beat that baby calf to death or whatever. That's what I mean. Veal is one of the most inhumane things you could ever meet.
She smiles when she says that.
Well, I'm just
You dirty.
So I thought, interesting that they're going for the animal lovers here. And the topic is for animal lovers, and they're really trying to make the point and bring that home. And then they execute it, and it's funny, and everyone's got chemistry, and the music's great. So
I love that it's a lobster, because you
Yeah.
know that they sit in those tanks and at a diner like that could have happened.
Yeah, like, I think every piece of this from the beginning idea of just like, yeah, who orders lobster at a diner? You're not gonna be able to eat for the next week after that.
Okay,
garbage.
but Red Lobster basically is a diner that's made its entire life on lobster. So
true.
there are
And-
chains.
but good
Those
biscuits.
we're on the same biscuit page.
Lord help me.
But yeah, I love that it started with that and then goes into this idea of, and of course, like with them being in the little water aquarium, I know animal things, getting pushed. It's such a great tank. There we go. So, such a great opportunity too for the staging of it, for him
Yes.
to come out
Yeah.
in the tank. And again, Keenan didn't overact this, and that's why I didn't hate him. Normally he reverts back to all that and overacting the crap out of everything.
I think he couldn't. First of all, he had no hands. He had claws, and he couldn't move. He was in a tank, so he was kind of, and he had to sing. He couldn't talk. So
There
you
we
weren't
go.
hearing the same like intonations of his voice that he has
Yeah.
that one way of speaking. That's the only way he goes. Here he was completely restrained.
We cracked the code.
Yeah,
Just put him in a
point.
straitjacket for
Put
the
him in.
rest
I was
of
just
it.
gonna say
We
that.
need you in full song 24/7.
But here's another thing that's so great about that sketch. So the set design itself was so awesome.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're bringing out that tank, and then they bring out like all the lobster cages as a barricade, I just thought it was great.
Yeah, I
Loved
think
it.
also I'm a huge musical fan. So as soon as I heard the music from Les Mis, I was like, yes.
So is Bree, our engineer.
Yeah. I was just so happy. I listened to Little Les Mis on the way over here.
Oh my gosh,
So
I
excited.
should.
I know, it really got me ready to go. But yeah, getting to see the whole cast at the end too, just coming in and singing, it's always so much fun when they do big numbers like this. And for it to be a sketch that was written 10 years ago,
Right.
never made it to air, got to do it
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
So much fun. This was my favorite of the night.
Yeah. Me too. By far, by a real long shot.
I agree.
Surprisingly, we're probably not going to talk about Update for too long because it actually, this week and last week have been slightly disappointing for me on Update. Switching from praising Keenan, well, I won't say praising because I just said he didn't screw it up, but switching from that to this, we're not going to talk about LeVar Ball because it's the same thing that he always does. Agreed?
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Awesome. But were there any jokes that stood out this week to you guys?
I have two main things. One was when Michael Che was like, FBI raids are like your girl going through your phone. They're only confirming what they already know. True.
Yeah.
And I loved the Laura Ingraham with Kate McKinnon. I thought she did a really good job when she was like, cream soda for whites.
So anything Kate McKinnon touches is absolutely fantastic. I like Malaysia Airlines. Caught in a scandal, need an escape.
Oh, yeah. Because that was like actually realistic. The only realistic one.
Yeah. Or your pillows. Send us your pillows because we need some. Or just funny. Just funny.
Just quiet.
Yeah.
I think the way that she played her, like, to be so unapologetically terrible was my favorite part of it. Just the way that she delivered it, of just like, and Joe's just being like, no, like, you can't, that's what got you in trouble in the first place. Like, don't say that. She's just like, I don't care. Like, she's just going for it.
Yeah.
I think that was really my highlight for Update. The jokes weren't amazing this week or last week. I feel like it's been a couple of rough weeks for Update, but
I don't know if I'd say that it's disappointing for Update as much as I would say it was just unremarkable. There have been two unremarkable updates back to back. Nothing that I really didn't like, but nothing I liked either, really. Nothing really stood out.
Yeah. Last week, I mean, I loved getting to see Heidi do the boxer's girlfriend that we all love.
Yes.
But the jokes themselves, I think that, like you said, not bad, but just kind of underwhelming for the fact that normally we're like, when do we get to talk?
Yes.
They're never bad, and I
Yeah.
still believe that. Like, it's never not enjoyable to watch them. It's like a good source of news for your average American, to be honest. But it wasn't like you guys said, it wasn't like killer. Like, usually when we're like, yes, like this was it.
Yeah. Well, the next sketch, Hollywood Update / Switcheroo. This is another sketch that Mulaney wrote. I think it was back in 2009. Didn't make it to air. So they're doing the they are talking about an old show that they're bringing back, like all the shows that they're doing right now, and this happened to be one that focused on a father-daughter or father-son switcheroo.
A good old switcheroo.
And they focused on the fact that he would have to now have sex with his mom. So what were your guys' overall thoughts on this super fun incestual sketch?
I thought it was
Not funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of honestly blacked out during it. Like, I feel like
I did that as well.
You really,
Totally.
yeah. I saw it and I was like, okay, Dad switches now. Okay, so this is Freaky Friday, but like even freakier because you guys are married.
Sicker Friday.
And then I kind of just like was like, nothing hit for me.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that I like that it was really clear what the game was right away, and you're like, oh, okay. But then they didn't do anything with it from there. I liked Mulaney's delivery on some of the stuff, just being completely unaware, and then the addition of like really enforcing what a weirdo he is when Cecily was like, and in between breaks he was just staring at me with empty eyes. So I think there was something about it that missed for me, but I did like some of the specifics that they gave of like, we still see each other because like I have to go to group with them because they think it's important for them to be able to confront me, or that they have to, that they were filming in like Haiti for a while, but then they were like even like, hey, no dice. So I thought there was funny pieces to it, but it never fully came together for me.
Yeah. I think it was really premise based on like a singular premise, and then Mulaney's part added an extra, but then it dipped.
Yeah,
I thought good writing for a subject matter that wasn't that funny. So I wish they had put those good writing skills to something that just started funnier, that was a funnier premise to work with. I think it's really hard actually to go with incest. You got to really hit the right note. So it's a very tricky and demanding subject to take on. So I don't know, but the writing was good.
You guys heard it here first. Incest is tough.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
We've hit on something here.
Oh my God, I think you're really onto something.
Oh man, incest jokes. Good times, guys. Boners, incest jokes, chicken cutlets. We have a good show going
funny.
tonight.
Another gossip for John Mulaney, his major, one of his two majors in college, he went to Georgetown, was religion.
Interesting.
Just a little FYI. I think it was English Lit and religion.
I could definitely see him playing like the pastor of a new reboot Seventh Heaven or something.
Yes, I could too. I actually can see him playing a pastor.
Speaking of reboots, Switcheroo, I'd rather see that one than
Seventh Heaven.
Switcheroo.
I would rather see that, right.
Oh man, good times on AfterBuzz tonight. So next we had the horn sketch, where Luke was having horns removed from his head.
Your boy was back.
And that was the sketch.
I was so, it was like, I was really happy to see a 3-year-old get on a tricycle. You know, I was like, okay, Luke, you can do it. Now get in the chair and be funny. Didn't happen, and I don't think it's his fault. I also think, you know, like I loved John Mulaney's character and how he really, his comedic timing was like, no, you're completely stupid for not knowing that. And I mean, I loved it. And I thought Heidi, whom I usually love, I thought she did a really good job in playing it. So very true to character. The writing just wasn't there for any of them.
That's why, yeah, I don't know if any of you guys know who wrote this one. I didn't look this one up to see if Mulaney had written this or if this was Luke or Heidi or one of the other writers. I'm not sure who wrote this one. So if any of you know, comment, because I'm actually interested in knowing that, because I feel bad. Like, Luke, I have nothing against him, but if you want to place another bet, he's not going to be here next year.
Yeah.
There's been nothing that he stands out with. And I feel like in something like this, you're right, it wasn't a well-written sketch, but Mulaney and Heidi found ways to stand out.
Yes.
And Luke just kind of sat there and delivered the lines, whereas like Heidi's character was kind of memorable, and like her like kept asking like where he went to school and like not knowing if Harvard was good. Like just her delivery in it, and like you said, Mulaney's timing, I think made them stand out in a sketch that's not good. And that's when you know that's a good sketch actor.
They put like character. They put like
that so could have been me.
Character into is John Mulaney calling me.
Scared the crap out of me.
Hello. Speaking of this horns, I liked Luke Knoll in this. I think that he just doesn't put the extra antidote in a character. Like he just, I don't know, hasn't learned that, I guess, because it was like he just delivered the lines. But I loved Heidi's when she was like, so are you going to keep your butt crack a zipper still?
Right, yeah.
That was like the only line that I was like, that was clever.
Okay, so I liked it when she pulls out the paint and the bag, and he's like, you cannot sniff paint in the building. And she's like, oh, and he's like, it's not for me, it's for the building.
It's for the building, yeah.
So great.
And yeah, his timing on that, excellent.
No, and his Harvard, you know, every line he delivered was great. Yeah. I just wonder if Luke isn't nervous. Do you guys get the sense that he's nervous? Like he just doesn't feel good in his skin yet?
Yeah, I feel like he's not confident. Like Chris Redd comes on and he's like, there, he owns it. And it's actually, that's funny. It reminds me, I just saw him a few days ago. Someone tweeted like something, a bunch of people, I guess, tweet him stuff like, oh, like you're like Kenan, like the other Kenan and stuff like that. And he was like, I'm a grown ass man and I'm 30 something. I've been doing comedy for like this long. Like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like you forget, like these are established comedians, even though they're just getting on SNL. Like they've been there's a reason why they're on SNL.
Yeah, they're just like, good for you, buddy. You did comedy for your first time tonight.
So it's like, I feel bad for Luke, but like if this is you got this, you're doing something right. So like pull that in and go.
I agree.
Well, I mean, it's a tough thing too. Like when you get on this show, some people have an amazing start, other people have a slower start. When you have that slower start, like what it does, I can't even imagine to like the psyche of it, of like week after week not getting your sketches on. Because these cast members and writers come to the table every week with 2 sketches. So every single week to not get a sketch on, to not get a character on, to get, you know, like have it cut and dress or not even make it to dress, like that's got to start to play into things like this too. Like you said, it's confidence level.
Yeah.
Yes, not to mention that from what I understand, because I've interviewed a bunch of SNL characters, because Chicago's got such a history with those. So I've interviewed 3 or 4, including Katie Rich, who's a writer on this show now. And I know that there's a lot of politics behind the scenes too. So it's not like all fun and laughter. I think they work incredibly long hours and they're pretty cutthroat. And Lorne Michaels is not easy to deal with and get along with, as I understand it. So I think there's that extra added political, sometimes toxic element that can be competitive and harsh. So
that's every job. But especially like this is like the Olympics of comedy in terms of television and getting your name and likeness out there. But I just feel like I feel like he has to have something. I just don't even know what his angle is. Like I don't know what his type of comedy is or what it could be on this show.
Yeah, and that's why I just feel like I don't know that we're going to get the chance to see it, unfortunately, because even people like Noelle Wells was one of my favorites. Only made it through her first season, and even her, like, I knew at the end of that season what her thing was. I got what she did. Like, she had some great impressions that she did, but also, like, I understood her brand of comedy. I have no idea what his brand of comedy is at this point.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. I have nothing against him. I don't dislike him.
Right. No, me
but
neither.
I just, I don't see, and a sketch like this, I think, is very showing of that, because like Heidi, everything down to just the way she was sitting, and like
so
she brought
committed.
so much to that character. Then again, I mean, this could be a character that she's been working on for 10 years.
Yeah, and maybe
that she's
she
had
wrote
in
the
different
sketch for all
scenarios.
we know. Yeah.
She does bring a lot of her like boxer's girlfriend into different characters.
does.
You see, but that works. Like you see that with
that's
Will
her
Ferrell,
brand
Kristen
of-
Wiig.
yeah.
Like when they bring characters, you see characteristics of like their main characters.
Right.
Like I mean it's easier to do that when you're playing new characters every week. Like you just need to find a home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Luke, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Must be. I hate to judge because I have the utmost respect for comedians and especially stand-up comedy, because that and just performing in front of an audience and wanting them to laugh, because there's so many different elements that play into that.
Yeah.
Like just the ambiance, like who's actually in the crowd, like what's happened. Like you just never know why someone's not laughing at you, and it's hard not to take that personal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, last sketch of the night was a taped one. It was the real intros in Reality Hills, so mocking the fact that like reality shows, they just do all the like intros and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think funny, didn't need to be any longer. Fine.
Yeah.
I like when they make fun of reality shows, but they can't do it for too long.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was a one-liner joke.
Yeah.
Every character got to go up and do a one-liner joke. I thought it lasted a little bit too long. Like I didn't think Leslie was funny again and again and again with the oy vey jokes. But John Mulaney was great as the twins. He was wonderful. So, it was good at 80. So we didn't get a lot of 80 in this episode, and I thought she was good here. So, it's good. It was funny. Not much of a start and stop, just like funny one-liners, and that was fine.
There we go. Well, okay, so this week, favorite sketch.
Lobster.
Lobster diner.
Lobster,
Yes.
all the way. And then, so I'm actually not even sure. I didn't check and see who is
I was just
next
gonna
week.
say,
I know.
I just realized.
And I'm very excited. Let me do the honors. Because you guys might not know this, but another show I host at AfterBuzz is Atlanta. So we have... Get ready! Donald Glover is the host, yes, and Childish Gambino, him,
Yes.
Donald Glover, is the musical guest. So it's just, it's perfect, you guys. He is a genius. He is funny. He does stand up. A lot of people don't know that he also does that because he can do literally anything he wants. It's sickening. I just think it's going to be an epic episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got to get re-excited all over again. I remember hearing, because they always announce 3 weeks in advance, and I remember seeing that, being so excited, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, I forgot who's hosting next week.
I thought it was a joke. I'm like, what? No.
I absolutely loved him from Community. Community is one of my
Yes.
favorite underrated shows, and I think
Totally.
he is just, like you said, he is just so incredible. So what are some predictions for next week? What do you think we're going to see?
It's going to be off the charts funny and entertaining.
your
I think you're going to
AfterBuzz
get like,
TV.
so something that I liked about John Mulaney is that everybody was happy to see him, and you felt that the whole cast was really happy. I think you're going to get that in spades.
Yeah.
That people are just going to be like, it's hip, it's now, it's dope, it's talent, it's funny, it's good.
Yeah. I think his monologue is going to be really good because I think a lot of people don't realize that he has that in his toolbox. And I think that you never know how a different comedian or writer will play, an actor will play into it, but I think his humor is so obscure that it could be really like a hit. Like, I think a few skits could be like really strong. I don't really know what to expect. Because he can play so many roles. He can play like the normal guy. He can play like really weird, like a socially awkward type. So I think that there's no limit to this because he's just limitless.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think it's going to be very, very high energy. Really quickly though, do you guys want to learn and have fun and grow in all areas of your life?
Yes.
I do.
Perfect. Well, for those of you who do, have we got the podcast for you?
Awesome.
Conversations with Maria Menounos is a podcast edition. Is hosted by our very own AfterBuzz TV founder, and it drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life. which is great because I am
Awesome.
not good at most aspects
I need
of life.
those. I need tips on being awesome in life.
So, from health and wellness to career and relationships, finances, and more, let our Maria be the big sister that you've always wanted. I have a big sister and she's great, but I would love Maria to be mine too.
I'll take another one.
So, just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos. It's free, so go ahead and do that. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know that it was
We
us
sent
who
ya.
sent you
Oh,
there.
yeah.
The
Okay.
ladies of SNL.
The ladies who like the lobster.
Yes.
Yes, this won't sound creepy at all to her. So again, Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition. Check it out. So next week, excited for a very high energy episode with Donald Glover, or as actually Tina Fey on 30 Rock said, Donald Glover. We'll get into that. Go ahead and let us know where we can find you on social media.
I'm Steph Sabraw. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabraw, and I'm so excited about next week.
I'm Elysabeth Alfano, and I'm on the internet.
Well said. I'm Amy Maestri. You can find me at Amy Maestri. We'll see you guys next week.
Mwah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.